Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Journeys. I am Kimberly Palm, and I'm here spreading my light, my truth, my love to the masses. So, if you're new, welcome to this channel. I am a spiritual teacher, advisor to people on awakened people on their journey. And I am the best-selling author of Ascension 101, A Roadmap for Your Soul, and The Real Fountain of Youth, an Introduction to the Stress Management System. I am also a certified meditation and mindfulness instructor, certified energy healer, and metaphysician, paranormal, supernatural researcher, and enthusiast. Just all kinds of stuff that I do. History buff, esoterics, all of it. Shamanism. I'm a trained shaman, actually. But I do all of these different fun, interesting things to help all of you on your journey, with your spiritual journey, hopefully. Whoever is, I guess, ready, willing, and interested in having this assistance right now, that's what I'm here to do. So today, because I don't script my videos, number one, for those of you who don't know my style when I interview people on this show, which today I'm not, I'm just going to be teaching you and talking to you about some very important information. When I have people on the show, I am not an interviewer and I'm not a news reporter. Okay. So I don't have an interview style because I'm not interviewing people. When I have people on, it's usually friends or people who I think very highly of, who I've been following for a long time, who we have a discussion. We have a mutual discussion, mutual conversation. It would be like you listening in to me having a conversation on the phone with a friend or something like that. So we're having a discussion. So I'm sharing, they're sharing, we're both sharing. So it's not this thing like Nicholas Benjamin is a good example of this. A lot of people follow him and he'll ask one or two questions and then he'll just sit there and just go like that and just listen the whole time. To what the other person's saying, and the person talks the entire time. That's not what my channel is about. I am a spiritual teacher. I've been teaching people all sorts of things since 1990. That's a really long time. And so I'm on this channel to teach. Whether I have somebody on with me or not, it doesn't matter. That is my purpose of being on this channel. So for people who are expecting a news channel with a news interviewer, you're going to need to go to another channel because that's not this channel. If you're here to learn new information from me and the people I have on, then I'm so happy and grateful to have you here. But if you're looking for the latest news or the latest prophecies of what's going to happen on the planet, this is not that kind of channel at all. You know, I'm teaching spirituality, metaphysics, esoterics, shamanic techniques. We talk about paranormal and supernatural and all kinds of interesting things. The truth about world religions. We expose a lot of truths about sometimes history, sometimes archaeology, and sometimes religions on here. I try not to talk about politics because that's not my thing. I don't like to talk about the financial this and that because that's not my thing. I've been told by my bosses. I have 3 bosses, Archangel Michael, Mother, Father, God, and Yeshua Christ. They're my bosses, and they've told me to keep focused on specific topics and not to play in other people's backyards. I have friends who are financial experts, and that's what they do. They talk about that stuff all day. I do not talk about that on this channel. So if you're expecting that, this is not the place for you. I usually don't have guests come on talking about finances either. Once in a while, somebody will mention something like Saloni or somebody I have on will talk about changes that might happen in the financial situation in the future. But I don't have financial experts on this show because this is a spiritual channel, not a money channel. The closest you're going to get to money is I do teach manifestation, and I do teach my clients how to manifest money. So how to manifest money, I may mention something about it every now and then, but that's as close to money subject as I'm going to get on here. So I don't script any of my shows. I just kind of go by intuition. I go by downloads, and I go by my clairaudience of what I'm hearing that my guides want. Mary Magdalene and my other guides, what they want me to say, that's what I go by, or if I'm inspired to ask a specific question. So today I have the subject I'm going to talk to you about that's extremely important. In fact, it's the number one most important thing I will ever teach on this planet. And that is because I'm actually here. One of my purposes of why I came here on earth is to teach about this specific subject. And so I don't have it scripted out. And so I may have to pause to just kind of think about, what I'm going to say on here. I don't really know how this is going to go. I am going to ask Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, and Yeshua to kind of guide me through this whole video today, and to inspire me with what they want you to know, because this information is information that they've given me over the years, and that I just know my higher self knows. So what we're talking about today is, first of all, what the world needs now, and that thing that what the world needs now, like the song by Dionne Warwick, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And by the way, I can't sing pop music worth beans. So if you think my voice is horrible, it's probably because it is, because I don't sing pop music. I sing opera. So one of these days, you guys will get an operetta from me on this channel. I'm going to have to get really brave with that, because I'm very, very, how do you want to say, timid about singing in front of people on video or in person or anywhere. But pop music, I can't sing worth beans. So if you want to laugh, go ahead and laugh. I don't care. But what the world needs now is love. But love is also what I call your stolen soul purpose. So in this book that I wrote, for those of you that don't have it, you really need to get this, because this book's going to help you make it through the apocalypse, Great Awakening, Ascension, whatever you want to call it. It's Ascension 101, a roadmap for your soul. It's available worldwide on Amazon. In that book, I answer most people's spiritual questions, and then I give you all the things you need to know to make it through the ascension. But the biggest thing I talk about in there is your soul purpose versus your life missions. You could have anywhere from 1 to 100 life missions, while you're here. Like right now, you're going to be a mom, then you're going to be a doctor, then you're going to go and work in a food factory, or, whatever. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But you may have multiple life missions, but your soul has 4 purposes, which I talk about in the book. But I'm going to talk today to you about the number 1 soul purpose, because that is what the world needs now. It's what's been stolen from you, and it's your number 1 soul purpose, and that's love. So love is the subject. I'm wearing my crystal heart today. I love this thing. I got this actually on the island of Oahu. It's quartz crystal heart that's covered with some gold. It's got some gold and stuff. Here's the thing, everybody. You really need to listen up, and you may want to pause this video and listen to it again and get a piece of paper and pen to take notes. Basically, some of this stuff is in the book. So we're going from a third density planet to a 5th density planet. We used to be a 5th density planet until the bad guys took it over 11,500 years or so ago and turned it into a 3rd density planet. They actually overlaid a 3rd density holograph over the 5D, which is being removed now, and we're ascending, and all of the bodies of all the humans. The Earth itself didn't really change much, just slightly. It just needed to have the holograph removed. The humans, however, were totally changed and messed with so that we could get sick, get old. We grow old fast, we have short lives, we get sick with everything in the book, and we die and we suffer and we have traumatized, horrible lives, because that's what the evil reptiles, whatever, they feed off of that. That's their loosh, that's their food, and also the demons on this earth. So they took the earth from what was called, what we call a 5th density love-based consciousness, love consciousness, to a fear consciousness, because fear and love, fear and hate and love, hate and fear are in the same boat, but they're the opposite of love. Okay. And usually why people hate is because they are in fear. That's, they just go hand in hand. So the earth is supposed to be a 5D love consciousness, but it's not just any kind of love. So here's what happened. Human beings think of love in the totally wrong way. Okay, how all of you, and I shouldn't say all of you, there may be some of you out here who get what I'm talking about, what I'm going to talk to you about right now, because you're on my same level, you've been awake a long time, or you're just a naturally really loving, compassionate person, so you just really get it. So some of you are already there, and some of you need some work, and there's no judgment here whatsoever, because we're all human. I'm always a work in progress, and I'm a human, and I make mistakes. So I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying this is the way it is. Some of the humans on earth understand what I call true love is, or agape love. So we're going to discuss today the real kind of love. This is the love that was stolen from earth. It's your stolen purpose, is to just be love. And the thing is that Christ came here with Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary to teach about agape love and to spread agape love all over the world, which is this pure, perfect, unconditional love. That means there's no conditions. Okay? That is what they came to teach. That is what they embodied. The Buddha also embodied unconditional love. He was a very loving being. There's been all kinds of beings who have walked the earth who have been that unconditional love. And Saint Francis of Assisi was one of them. There's a whole bunch of people who walk the earth who really understand that unconditional love. So today I want to talk to you about this concept that has been stolen, why it was stolen, number one, how it was stolen, what we need to do to get back to that, and how we can change the world. How can you be that change in the world through this concept of unconditional love? So first of all, let me explain what unconditional love is, okay? So unconditional love is the opposite of conditional love. Conditional love is when you, and this is many of my clients and my own situation, where you have family members who will no longer speak to you again, or won't let you see your grandkids, or an ex-husband who won't let you see your children because you wouldn't get that thing, the thing that they stick in the arm, okay? So you won't get that. So because you won't get that, or maybe you voted for a certain presidential candidate that they don't agree with because they are on the other side of the fence. So now they won't speak to you anymore. Or maybe another example of this is what my family did to me when I was young, and I changed religion. So when I was a young adult, I was like 20 whatever, and I changed religions. A lot of my family disowned me and wouldn't speak to me anymore just because I decided to practice a different religion. Now that is all called conditional love. Okay, that means your family members may tell you they love you, but they don't really love you. It's not unconditional agape love. They've been taught Cabal version of love, and all of the humans have been brainwashed the Cabal version of love for 11,500 years. Okay, in Cabal love, it's if you don't do this, I won't love you. If you don't do that, I won't love you. If you don't, get one of these, I won't love you. If you aren't a certain way, I won't love you. And it's me, this narcissistic service to self thing, which is what 3D is. 3D is 100% service to self. 4D is love and compassion and kindness and service to others. And 5D is even more radical love. It's this pure unconditional love that has no judgment, no nothing. And that is the kind of love that Christ embodied, Mary Magdalene embodied, Mother Mary embodied, this really, really radical unconditional love. So we have 3 stages of love. We have the conditional Cabal fear-based love, that's if you're not going to act a certain way, I will not love you. And my love is limited to what can you do for me, me. It's all about me. When my daughter was a little girl, she said to me, because she's so darn philosophical and she's also a starseed and she's brilliant, off the chart brilliant. She made a comment to me. She said, Mom, you know what the meaning of love is? She said, real love is when you always want the best for the other person. You always want the best for the other person. And you should write that down. Okay, so if you have paper and pen, go get it and write that down. Love means you always want the best for the other person. So it's not this, if you don't do my religion, it's my way or the highway. And if you don't do it my way, I throw you out of my house. I disown you. You're out of my family. I don't care about you anymore. Because when your mother and father truly, truly love you, like my grandmother did, my grandmother was that kind of person. My mom and dad, no. My mom and dad, I didn't speak to them for a couple of year period because I switched religions and then they refused to speak to me for 2 years. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And honestly, up until my parents died, we never ever resolved a lot of this crap with the conditional love stuff. My mother was very narcissistic. So my grandma was the total opposite of my mother. She was the opposite. And my grandma is the only reason why I didn't commit suicide when I was a teenager, because I thought about it many times. I was very unloved. You know, I felt very unloved by my mother. She was not nice to me at all. And my grandma is what kept me alive. And it's because she embodied the Christ, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, unconditional agape love. She embodied that. What does that mean? Well, that means I went and told my grandma I changed religions, and she asked me, she looks at me with the smile, and she said, does that make you happy? And I'm like, yeah, it makes me happy. And she said, then I'm happy for you and it's good. And then she gave me a hug and a kiss. And she's in heaven along with my parents now. They're all, actually my entire family's gone. My only family left, realistically, who I speak to, because I have some cousins and stuff that are left, but I don't speak to any of them because they're all on the other side of the fence and they don't like my political beliefs, my religious beliefs, anything that I believe in. They don't agree. So obviously they don't understand that familial, unconditional love thing. They don't get it, which is fine. And then I have my husband and my 2 kids. That's my family, my husband and my 2 kids. That's it. So the thing is my grandma, no matter what I did, which luckily for her, I was a perfect angel kid. I mean, I always did what my elders told me, and I was a really good kid. In fact, she went to her grave telling everybody what a great kid I was and how perfect, I was like this perfect student in school, getting straight A's and perfect kid. And I did whatever my elders told me to do all the time. I was, just always cooperating, always doing what I was told. And that's just the way I was. I was a really good kid. So, but my grandma, even if I did make a stupid mistake, like, one time when I was a teenager, I was driving with my grandma in the car and I drove too fast into one of those turnpikes that go onto the freeway. And we actually crashed into the guardrail because I was like 16, 17 years old, green driver, didn't really know what I was doing. And I wasn't used to freeway driving. I wasn't experienced at it. And I was going just a little too fast. And then it was slick. And I think there was oil or something. It was really slick and wound up hitting the guardrail. My grandma could have done what other people do on this earth, which is, oh my God, you're a stupid idiot. I never want to speak to you again, or you're crazy, or this or that. Or, she could have done a number of things. She could have yelled at me. She could have screamed at me. She, could have freaked out. Instead, she basically said, she said, I looked at her, I said, are you okay? And she goes, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just a little, shaken up. She said, you need to be more careful. That's all she did. She said, you need to be more careful. She didn't yell at me. She didn't scream at me. And that is the way somebody who loves you unconditionally, that is the way they speak to you. They don't tirade at you like certain people in my life who yell and scream at me and cause me to have a sore throat because they're yelling and screaming and tirading at me and bullying me and this kind of thing because they don't understand agape love. They don't even have a clue what it is. she was fully accepting, fully loving, and she embodied that divine feminine agape unconditional love. And I was having a conversation with my husband, and I told him, I said, the thing missing from the planet, and the reason, and this is when the Ukraine war started, I said that the thing missing from the planet that's causing all these wars, the number one thing is love. It's been taken away by these evil controllers a long time ago, and it just goes and goes and goes all these years with people not understanding how to truly love one another and not even love themselves. And he said to me, the main cause of war isn't lack of love. The main cause of war is greed. Here's what he doesn't understand, and I'm going to tell all of you. When you are 5D, which is that unconditional agape love all the way around, 360-degree unconditional love, there is no greed. It doesn't exist. Greed and unconditional love, just like hate and unconditional love, cannot exist. You can't hate someone and unconditionally love them at the same time. You cannot fear someone and unconditionally love them at the same time. Fear and hate and greed are opposites of love. Okay. You can't be in a place of total unconditional love. Now, a lot of you will argue and say, well, I can love somebody and be greedy, or I can love somebody and be angry at them or hate them, or I can be fearful of something and love it. Yeah, maybe so, but again, that's not the kind of love we're talking about here. Okay, people, we are talking about a different kind of love. There's different stages of love. So you have the 3D kind of love, which is the service to self and the ego. It's ego-based love, service to self-based love, fear-based love. So if I'm I'm going to love you, but if I'm afraid of you, I'm not really going to love you, and, all this kind of thing. There's that kind of love. There's the 4D love. 4D is a little more loving and not the service to self and not the greed and all that, because now you're like unity consciousness, no more division and separation, service to others. And then there's the 5D love, which is, who you really are. You got your superpowers. You're connecting to source constantly. You're just right on path with that whole ascension thing. And best of all is you have no judgment, because guess what? Corinthians, Paul wrote the letter to the Corinthians. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's never boastful. Love doesn't have ego and greed and pride and all those things involved. When it's unconditional agape love, the kind that the apostles were teaching, the kind that Christ taught, the kind that Mary Magdalene taught, the kind that Mother Mary taught, that agape unconditional love, there's no ego. There's no judgment anymore. So you can't say, I love you unconditionally and then judge me. My grandma never judged me. Never judged me. Okay, she didn't judge anyone. Nobody. Because she walked, talked, ate, drank, slept, unconditional love. She was just pure unconditional love. She oozed it out of her body everywhere. Okay, she glowed. She was kind of a chubby little short grandma, and she was like a little chubby little glowing ball of beautiful awesomeness. Okay, she was amazing. She was just beautiful. She was beautiful inside and out. And that is that unconditional love. No jealousy, no greed, no anger, no hostility, no fear, no hate, no malice, no competitiveness. Give you another example. My husband is always constantly trying to compete with me. Yeah. I have no interest. I don't want to compete with him, but it's constantly a competition of he does this better. He does that better. He's always better. He's high and mightier. He's more important. That's not me. I don't think I'm more important or better or higher and mightier than any human on planet Earth. Okay. I am not better than anyone. All right. Unconditional love means, because I ooze unconditional love. I unconditionally love my family. I unconditionally love my children. I even told my children, I said, I will always love you no matter what, unless you murder somebody and then we have an issue. No matter what you do, you can go and try drugs. You can go and do this. You can go and do that. You can even rob a bank. I don't really care. Of course they wouldn't. And I don't really condone that. I'm just saying that I would not stop loving my children unconditionally, except for one thing, and that's committing crimes against humanity, raping, killing, any of that kind of sick, disgusting, horrific, vile stuff. Yeah, then we're going to have a problem, because I'm going to separate myself from them and not want to ever see them again, because I can't love somebody who does somebody that evil and maniacal and horrible. But other things that they do, they decided they were going to steal $20 out of my wallet. I'm not going to love them any less, or, be horrible to them because of that, or be abusive to them because of that. I'm going to try to teach them lessons, like a good parent does. I'm going to try to teach them. I'm going to try to be an example to them of what a good human being looks like. But I'm not going to be hateful to them. I'm not going to say, I'm never going to speak to you again. It's kind of like my father, when I was single and young, I was like a teenager. He said, I don't care who you have sex with, but if you get pregnant, we're throwing you out of the house. Well, that's not unconditional love, because God forbid my daughter went and got pregnant or something, or my son went and did something like that. I'm not going to throw them out of my house because they did that. That's not a reason to throw away your child. That is not unconditional love, and it is not okay. The 5D unconditional love is no judgment, no malice, no hatred, no competition, no ego involved, no I'm better than you. And as my daughter put it very gracefully to me, is I always want the best for the other person. I always want my children to be happy. I always want my husband to be happy. I always want my friends to be happy. I always want my clients to be happy, because I love my clients unconditionally. I love all of you unconditionally, okay? Unless you do something that's a crime against humanity, and then we got an issue, okay? So, killing, raping, pillaging, all that, yeah, that's a big no-no. You do that kind of stuff, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. The unconditional love, it's all about acceptance. It's all about being the better person, taking the high road, shining your light, and not having expectations. Because here's the other problem with these people who are 3D love, the 3D love that the Cabal teaches everyone for 11,000 years, is it has all these conditions. It's very, very judgmental. It's very, very wishy-washy. And it's like, oh, today I love you, tomorrow I don't. It's on again, off again. It just has so many, I lost track of what I was going to say. I had something specific. I'll remember it in a minute, but there was a specific point I was going to make. But the unconditional agape love, there are no, expectations. That's what it was. Okay. So with conditional, the bad kind of love, the 3D love, you have these really, really high expectations of everyone. Okay. So I'm going to expect that my children behave a certain way. I'm going to expect that my spouse or that my friends behave a certain way. I'm going to have an expectation that they have to do certain things for me, or I'm not going to love them. Okay. Those expectations are all involving the ego, involving conditions, and are not unconditional love. When there's unconditional love, there is no expectation. The only expectation is that person will hopefully be like you. You hope and you want the best for them. You will hope that they will return and reciprocate to you what you are giving to them. That is your, intention, and your hope is that I hope they will love me back the same way I love them. But you can't expect it, because when there's expectations, it's not the full unconditional love. And the other thing is, when you have expectations of anything, it blocks manifesting in your life. So if you're trying to manifest love or something like that, if you have these expectations set up, they set up a wall of blockage for you. So they're blocking you when you have these expectations. You need to just have the expectation that you're just going to love. I am just going to love. I am going to love myself. This is the other thing that has been stolen from you. So your soul purpose, your main soul purpose, there's 4 purposes, like I said, but the main one is the love. Loving yourself unconditionally was stolen from you above and beyond everything. Above and beyond everything, self-love. Because you cannot turn around and love other people if you don't love yourself, if you hate yourself. In fact, there's a person on social media, she's on YouTube, and she obviously is a nasty, unhappy, hateful, mean person who doesn't love herself, because she takes all of her videos and makes them about people like me and other spiritual people, and she hurts them. She makes these expose videos saying that they're a fraud and they're this and they're that. And I'd say 90% of the people that she does these videos on are actually really good, nice, kind people who have nothing wrong with them. It's just that she is a miserable, unhappy person, and so she chooses to pick a person who she's jealous of. It's usually people who she's jealous of them because they're successful. And then she does a video and she says that they're a fraud and that they're this and that they're that, and that she tested their energy and that they're bad and they're this and that. And she makes up all these lies. How she hasn't been totally sued or put in jail, I have no clue. But that's not the point. The point is, that kind of behavior has to do with lack of self-love. So either her parents didn't love her, or she wasn't, she doesn't love herself. She has really low self-esteem, and how she makes herself feel better is by hurting other people. When you are loaded with self-love and self-approval and self-confidence, you don't have a need to go out and bash other people, hurt other people, backstab other people, gossip behind other people's back. And in the Bible, it said gossip is like bitter gall in the mouth of the Lord. There are many very truthful statements throughout that Bible that are hardcore truth, and that is one of them. Okay? Gossip is like bitter gall. Every time you talk shit behind somebody's back, our boss up in heaven who created our souls is not happy with that. Trust me. He's not approving. Okay? He does not approve. Christ does not approve. Mary Magdalene does not approve. She wasn't gathering with her girlfriends and gossiping behind people's backs. She was too busy healing people, healing them, and healing all of their insecurities and healing all of their unhappiness and their not feeling worthy and not feeling good enough and feeling ashamed and feeling blame, shame, grief, all these things that block the heart chakra. And when you block your heart chakra, guess what happens? You cannot love. You cannot love yourself. You cannot love your family. Blocking your heart chakra is the worst thing you can do. And how do you block it? Grief, shame, blame, guilt, not feeling enough, not feeling good enough, feeling bad about yourself all the time, being unhappy in your life, being miserable and unhappy. People who are miserable and unhappy have totally blocked heart chakras. And I'm not talking about somebody like me who I have moments of unhappiness, like when my family is disapproving of, what I do or whatever, because I didn't get this, or I'm not talking about that kind of unhappiness. I'm talking about just downright miserable people, these grinchy, like the Grinch, really grumpy, grinchy people who backstab their neighbors and backstab other people and harm people and are mean to people and would trip an old person if they wanted to, those kind of people. Their heart chakras are fully blocked, fully blocked. They have no self-love and they have no unconditional love for other people. And they're loaded, and maybe it's because they're just so loaded with grief that all they know is to act out and be a nasty person. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why people act out and do mean things and are hateful or in their ego or whatever. There's so many different reasons for this. I could talk for hours about it and not cover everything, okay? But the fact of the matter is 11,500 years of these evil ones on this planet taking humanity and teaching us how to hate on ourselves, be fearful, have malice and greed and all of these awful things, and not fully unconditionally love ourselves, because they teach us, for example, in modern days, the minute you're a little girl, they're showing you sexy models, with perfect lips and perfect everything in these magazines, and they make you feel like crap about yourself. All the TV commercials, all the movies, all the actresses, everything in Hollywood, all the entertainers, it's all about making you feel less than them and not as good as them and not as important as them. You're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not sexy, you're not thin enough, you're not desirable enough. They make you feel like a wimpy nothing. That's what this cabal society does. They make you feel like a wimpy nothing so that you will not love yourself. Because guess what happens? When they can make you not love yourself unconditionally the way I am, then you can't love other people. And then what do? You go and sell drugs, or you maybe run over some old grandma and you don't give a crap, or, just all kinds of things. Cheat on your spouse. One bad thing, pedophilia, this and that, all these different evil things. Start a war. Let's go kill people in such and such country. When you have self-loathing, you loathe yourself. You don't love yourself. You feel miserable inside. You hate yourself. You have all this loathing and unhappiness and misery on your inside, and your heart is all blocked, and you're not loving yourself. You cannot go out and love other people. You cannot be kind to other people. You cannot be compassionate. Kindness and compassion come from the love. They come from that love. The evil and all that all comes from the hate and the fear. The hate and the fear and the ego, all of that all is in one side. And then you've got love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness. That's all part of the love. Being able to forgive, that's a loving thing to do. If you don't have any love, you can't forgive. You can't just be a forgiving person and be an unloving, hateful, mean person. A hateful, mean person doesn't know how to forgive. Okay? So it's important to understand that they have stripped us from all our self-love all over this world, every human on this earth. Okay? Thank God the animals don't hate themselves. They love themselves because they've been 5D since they sprung upon the earth. The dogs are unconditional love. The cats are unconditional love. Your pets in your house are 100% unconditional love. You see these stories about these dogs that are rescued and these cats that are beaten and traumatized and and they still are there wanting love and wanting to lick you and wanting affection and wanting to give love because that's all they know. They're unconditional love. That's all they know. But with humans, you have all of the self-love stripped away from all the humans. So then what do the humans do? They're warring with each other. They're destroying each other. They're greedy. They want money. They want more of this and more of that. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to take that. Greed comes from wanting the best for you and not wanting the best for others, which is the opposite of that unconditional love. Because as I said before, the unconditional love is wanting the best for everyone else. You want the best for your spouse. You want the best for your family. You want the best for the world. You want the best for the planet. When you're in unconditional love, you want the best for our entire planet. You want the best for all the animals. You cannot say somebody is a loving person if they go and they beat their dog, or they abuse animals in general, or they'd go sport hunting. And I'm not talking about hunting for food. I'm talking about they go on safari and shoot endangered species like lions and elephants just to take their tusks and sell them and make a bunch of money because some country thinks it's an aphrodisiac. That's not love. People who are unconditional loving human beings do not behave that way. They don't harm people. They don't harm animals like that. They don't traumatize. And I'm not talking about food now, okay? This is a totally different thing. I'm talking about senseless killing of endangered species that you're not killing them because you're hungry and you don't have a choice, okay? Going and eating a cow, that's a different thing. And if you're a vegan and you're on here, please don't go off on my video going on and on and on, okay? Because this video is not about that. I am talking about the subject of love, so please do not go off on the subject of vegan versus not vegan and everybody who's not a vegan is a killer and da-da-da-da-da. I don't want to hear your baloney. Okay, if you're going to do that, go to another channel, please. I respect your opinion of wanting to be a vegan or wanting to be this or that, but this channel is not where you're going to argue with me about that. Okay. So we're talking about love. It's not a loving thing to do, by the way, to go and push your opinions on other people. Let's talk about this for a second. Since we're on this subject and I'm on a roll. Yeah, my boss just told me that, by the way. He said, you're on a roll. Keep going. Thank you. Okay. When you sit there and you inflict your religious belief, your food eating belief, your belief in whether to kill a chicken or not kill a chicken, when you start pushing your beliefs, like my beliefs in not smoking and drinking, if I go to my friends who smoke and drink and I tell them that they're evil and they're going to hell, and if they don't believe in not smoking and drinking, I'm not going to be friends with them. Is that love? No, that's not love. It's not okay to push your opinion on me. If you want to go be vegan, God bless you. That's wonderful. I think veganism is beautiful and awesome and amazing. And honestly, if I could do it, I would. I can't because of my body type and my digestive system and all that. I'm not able to do that. If I could do it though, trust me, I would totally do it. It's a wonderful thing. I'm not hating on veganism. I think it's amazing. What I'm hating on here, or picking on, I'm not hating on anything, I'm picking. What I'm picking on is the fact that if you tell me that I'm bad and I'm horrible and you're going to judge me, or you're going to fight with me, or you're going to tell me that I'm a killer or this or that because I don't agree with your lifestyle, your food, whatever, then that's not love. Then you are practicing 3D fear-based cabal love. That's 3D fear-based cabal love. You're not practicing 5D Christ consciousness, unconditional agape love. You are not practicing that. And here's the bad news, folks. Unless you start practicing 5D Christ consciousness, agape love every single day, you don't get to graduate to 5D. You don't get to ascend. All right. Ascension is a long process. It takes many years, and part of it is you doing all kinds of emotional healing work. What does that mean? That means you need to learn to love yourself unconditionally by saying the mantras, looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, Bob or Sandra or whatever your name is. I love you unconditionally. I accept you for exactly how you are. You are beautiful just the way you are. Look in the mirror and say those things to yourself and say, I am perfect the way I am. I love myself just the way I am. I love my body. I love my body. I love this body. I love every cell in my body. I love my boobs the way they are. I love my hips the way they are. I love my feet the way they are. I love my, rear and everything. I love every part of me. I love every organ, until you start loving yourself unconditionally, and then turning around and doing the same with every human and every animal on this planet. You will not be able to ascend. Being ascended, an ascended master, becoming an ascended master like Christ, or ascending, means that you reach that level of pure agape love where you don't hate on people, on anything. You don't judge. You don't try to be better than somebody. I'm better than you. You don't have a need to compete with everyone anymore. There's no need for competition. The only one you're competing with is yourself. I love the game of golf. Why? Because I'm competing with myself to see how much farther I can hit that ball down the fairway, how much closer to the little tin cup that I can get that ball in there. Okay? How much better can I get at my score every time? All right. When I'm shooting pool, I love shooting pool, even though I'm playing against other people. Honestly, I'd rather just shoot pool all by myself. I love to throw darts. I love to do archery. I love to do anything like that where it's me just doing it. I'm not competing against somebody else. I'm just competing against myself. How much better can I get at this? Because competition is part of the third density, fear and ego, service to self-based paradigm. Okay? When you're competing with, anytime you try to compete, all right? Competitive sports. Who do you think created competitive sports? The cabal? Yeah, The cabal created competitive sports. Going out and saying, I'm going to play baseball with my friends just because it's fun, just because I enjoyed the exercise, that's a 5D construct. You can say, I'm going out, I'm going to play on this team because I like being part of a team, and I love the teamwork, and I love the camaraderie, and I love the exercise, and I love the action, and I love hearing everybody going, yay, whatever. That's fine. But if you're sitting here and going, I have a need to compete with people, I'm going because I'm going to go kick somebody's butt. I just have a need to kick somebody's butt and I've got to go compete. That is a third density, fear-based cabal construct. Okay. That is a fear-based construct. All right. The only thing you should be doing, I am every day trying to make myself a new and improved Kimberly. I'm constantly growing. I'm not perfect. I'm a human. Okay. I'm not Christ. I am not her. She was pretty freaking perfect. All right. And by the way, the Catholic Church lied and said she had 7 demons in her and she was a prostitute. They lied about all that. She had 0 demons, never had any demons ever. And was never a prostitute ever. The only person that she had sex with was Yeshua. She had 2 twin baby daughters as a result of that, because they were twin flames and they actually hooked up, not sexually, but they met when they were children, and they knew immediately that they were twin flames and that they were meant to be together forever. Okay. Because they were together before they came here to earth. So lots of lies about her. The fact of the matter is, if you want to get to that unconditional love that she practiced, that Yeshua practiced, that Mary Magdalene practiced, that Mother Mary, practiced, you cannot be wanting to compete with others. You cannot be greedy. You cannot have malice and hate and fear and tell your family member, if you don't do this, I won't speak to you. If you don't do that, that's ridiculous. And you want the best for your child. You lead by the example, and you teach your children the best you can do, like I have with mine. I have led by example. I have led my life as a perfect person. I'm not perfect, okay? But I have tried as hard as I can to be the perfect example of a mom. And I've given my kids unconditional love like mad. I love them. I'm very protective of them. And I hope they will do the same someday. Maybe they will have children. Maybe they won't. But I hope that they will treat others the way I've treated them since they were little, and they will, since they came out of my tummy, with that kind of love. Because I'm on this ascension path, and I tend to achieve Christ consciousness someday. That is my goal. My goal is to achieve Christ consciousness, okay, and be that ascended master. That is my goal. All right. So I'm working hard. I'm not perfect. I'm not there yet. I have a way to go. And so do all of you. But I'm actually making an effort, and I'm trying, and I'm working at it. I'm not just sitting and going, maybe someday I'll do it, or I don't know, I'll think about it. I'm actually taking action, and I'm doing things every day and taking steps, and I'm watching what I say and what I do and how I affect people, and what impact am I making on the earth. I really pay attention to that. So that fifth density agape love, embodying that, becoming that is what your goal is, all of you, what all your goals should be. And if it's not your goal, you will not be ascending. Okay. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to be bossy. I am telling you the truth. I am speaking the truth. Yeshua wants you to know that if you don't achieve in this life, in this body, if you cannot practice what he practiced, that agape love, meaning you're not judging, you're not gossiping, you're not harming people, you're not competing, you're just being love. You're just being love. You're just loving people without expectation of them. If you cannot do that, you cannot ascend. You cannot ascend, because 5D is the agape love stage. And in order to get to that, you have to be able to lay down all your bullshit, all your ego. You have to push it aside. You have to say, get out of my way, ego. And you have to start just being love. Being love. Everything that comes out of your mouth when you're talking to people, ask yourself, am I speaking to this person in a loving way? Or am I speaking to them in a mean, hateful, bossy, fear-based way? Am I 3D or am I 5D? You should be checking in with yourself all day long. Am I being 3D? Am I being 4D? Am I being 5D? Okay? You want to be 5D. Okay? That is what you need to do if you want to ascend. All right? That is what you need to do. If you're not willing to do what I'm telling you, then we'll be going our separate ways, and not just because you won't be following my station anymore, my channel, but you'll be splitting off from where we're all going on this earth, this 5D that we're going to, because the earth is already starting to split. It's really starting to show up where we've got the 3D people here, the 4D people here, the 5D. The 4D in the middle are getting close, they're working towards getting into 5D. But if they can't fully get into 5D, they're going to be left behind too. What do they say? Many are chosen, few are called, or few are called, many are chosen, or I can't remember, whatever that saying is. The fact of the matter is not everybody's going to be ascending right now. Every single soul ascends. I've talked about this over and over. I talked about in the book. Every soul, one of your purposes is ascension. That is one of your purposes of the soul, is to ascend. Okay. But you won't be doing it in this lifetime, in this body. You will leave this body through death of the body, not death of your soul. Your soul goes on forever. There is no real death. That's another cabal construct. You will leave the body and you will go somewhere else, and you will do it all over again, and then again and again and again, until you are ready to ascend. There's going to be some people who will be leaving here and going to another third density planet where they'll actually go into lockdown like we did for 26,000 years, and they will be locked down, and they won't come out again and ascend until they've completed going through lots of lessons, because they're so lost. They're so out of touch with God. They've so turned their back on God in so many ways, and they're worshiping Satan or money or whatever, that they're just not even close. Some of you guys will check out of this body, but then you'll come right back in again to another one in the near future when things are shifted better. Just know you don't really die. None of us really die. We go on, forever and ever. But I am hoping and praying. My hope and prayer for all of you is that all of you are going to join me. We're all going to ascend in this body now. In this lifetime, we're going to create new earth. We're going to create the golden age. We're going to have 2,000 or 1,000 years of peace. Yeshua promised me that starting in 2023, which is next year, it was going to be 1,000 years of peace. So there's going to be lots of chaos this year. It's going to be actually quite awful. It will get worse before it gets better. But 2023 and beyond is going to be very peaceful. Okay? So we're getting all the bad guys out of here. They're all going. All right. Noticing my bleeding knuckles here on this camera screen. My hands are so dry because we have ungodly cold, icy cold weather here. We actually have like January winter storm weather here in April. It's really unfathomable. I just don't even get it. But it's causing my skin to dry out like a prune and crack and bleed. So I'm trying to think what else I want to share with you. I think that's pretty much it. So all of the world wars, all the bad things that happen on this planet, all of the raping and pillaging and pedophilia and all the horrible things that happen on this planet, they happen. The reason that they happen is because the reptiles took away the Anunnaki, who basically gave us these reptilian brains and stripped away all of our unconditional love, whatever they did to us. They gave us like a reptilian heart, reptilian brain. It's when they did that, it made it so that nobody on earth has this ability to have that, agape kind of thing. So you have all these wars, you have all these people who are hateful and mean and jealous and greedy, and they want your land and they want your money, and they don't like you because of your religion and this and that and the other. And that lack of that unconditional agape love that was here before, when the earth was 5D, before it got taken down and several notches to the 3D. That stripping away of that unconditional love is the cause of all of the chaos on this planet. Okay, so what the world needs now is love, sweet love. We need that agape love. We need it to come back to the planet. It is your main soul purpose is to be that agape love. And until every single person on this earth can embody that, we are going to have issues. We will have issues on this planet, meaning people doing harmful things to others. Because do you think somebody would go rob a grocery store and shoot the cashier if they unconditionally loved themselves and unconditionally loved everyone else? If they wanted to put other people, they wanted what's best for you and me and planet Earth. If they want what's best for you and me and planet Earth, they're not going to go and shoot somebody at a grocery store and steal stuff, because they would know that that is wrong behavior and that's not okay. It's one thing to be desperate. It's another thing to do a crime out of the desperation. The crime is being committed because the person does not have enough self-love and they don't have enough love for humanity. Because nobody would ever want to harm another human being when they have that agape love. You have no interest in harming people when you have agape love. In fact, I don't want to personally go and kill all the cabal. I have no interest in killing anyone or harming anyone. However, I do ask the angels to give divine justice, to take care of them. If they need to be obliterated, obliterate them, whatever it takes. I ask the angel tribunals to take care of that, because they are the judges. I'm not the judge. I'm not going to say I want to go kill them, because I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to kill anything. I don't want to kill anything. I have no interest in doing that. Even if you lined up the most evil, insidious humans in front of me and gave me a weapon and said, kill them, I couldn't do it. I don't care how evil. The only time I would kill would be if somebody's trying to kill me or my children or my husband. If somebody was trying to kill my husband or my children, I would either step in front of the bullet or I would go after them. Okay? If they're trying to kill or kill myself, I'm going to fight my way out of that. Otherwise, I have no interest, no intention of harming any animal, any creature, any human on the planet. And that is because I am agape unconditional love. That is what I am. Okay? I ooze it out of my being. I send the light everywhere. I'm a lighthouse beacon. I radiate and circulate love and light. In fact, when I'm driving down the road in my car, I sit there and I ask and say that I am sending love and light and peace to every person that I drive by on the road, every person who's driving with me on that same highway or road, that I wish for them to be peaceful and happy and joyful and experience love and receive and give love and sink into their heart space and open up their heart chakra. I do this everywhere I go. I go into the grocery store and I literally radiate out love to everybody in the grocery store. That is what I do. And that is what you should be doing. We all need to be light beacons out there, because if more of us step up and act as a light beacon to the world, then what will happen is we will overcome all the darkness and all the evil on this planet. We will overthrow it with so much light that it will blind everybody. Okay, that blinding light. People will be so overcome that they won't have any choice but to join us, to join our army of light and love. We need to become the army of light and love. They've been using the army of darkness against us for 11,500 years, really, officially. 26,000 years if you go back and you add in some other things. That's another story. I talk about that in the book. But 11,500 years under the reptilian control, with the darkness and the evil and the demonic entities controlling the planet. And so let's become the army of light. I ask all of you to join me and become that army of unconditional love and light, and just every morning look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. I love you unconditionally. Accept yourself the way you are. See yourself the way God sees you, because God sees you as perfect. He loves you for all your flaws, whether your hair is gray, whether it's straight or curly or bald, whether you're vegan or a meat eater or you're fruitarian or you're pescatarian, God still loves you. He doesn't care what your diet is. He doesn't care what religion you go to or if you don't believe in religion. He doesn't even care if you're an atheist. If you say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, well, that's nice. It's really sad for you, but God still loves you. God loves you no matter what you do, who you are, what you look like, God loves you if you beat up your next door neighbor yesterday. He's not going to like it, but he's still not going to love you because you are part of God and you're a child of God. And so the love never stops. It just goes and goes for all eternity. It's endless. And that's what agape love is. It's endless. It's unconditional. And it goes on for freaking ever, for billions and trillions of years, forever. So I am offering you all this challenge today to get out into the world. Your homework is to start accepting and loving yourself 100% so you can love others, and stop giving conditions to your family and to your friends. I'm not going to love the waitress at this restaurant unless she gets my order perfect. I'm not going to love this person because of da-da-da. Stop offering conditions and start wanting the best for everyone. That waitress might have had a bad day. Her husband just gave her a divorce or cheated on her, or her dog died, and she's taking your order incorrectly because she's emotionally upset. You need to give people compassion and the benefit of the doubt because you don't know what their situation is. And even though there's a lot of people saying nasty stuff about the Dalai Lama, one of my favorite books, let's see, do I have it here? I had it here somewhere. The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama, because it's an amazing book. And I know there's a lot of bad information about him now with what we know about all of these people that do bad things, which I don't want to go into. But that book is an incredible book, and it changed my life because I started looking at people very differently. Told a story about a man that he walked by every day and said hello to, and the man just looked down and was, kind of and didn't say hello and just ignored and had an awful look on his face. And time went on, and eventually he found out that the man lost his wife and he was super depressed. And it's a lot more complicated than that. But the moral to the story is unconditional love, no expectations, no judgment. Okay, stop judging people. Stop having a high expectation, and stop pushing your opinions, your beliefs on other people, because when you love people, you also respect as part of love. Respect other people's wishes, respect their opinions. I don't expect everybody to follow Yeshua. There's people who are Hindu, there's people who are Indian or Native American who follow maybe whatever their religion is. There's people who are Jewish, there's people who are Buddhists, there are people who are Sufis, there are people who are Muslims, there are people who are all kinds of different religions who do not see things the way I do. They do not believe the way I do. They do not agree with what I do. And I'm still going to respect them and accept them for who they are without judgment, because they have the right to believe whatever they want. I always say, as a spiritual teacher, I appreciate and accept everybody's way to the truth. If you come to me for guidance, I have people of every religion who I do counseling for. I counsel Muslims. I counsel people who are, what's it called? Hindu. I have a bunch of Hindus. I have people who are even atheists. I have people who are pagans. They're professed pagans. I have Wiccans. I have Jewish clients. I have Catholic clients. I have Christians. I have Seventh-day Adventists, Mormons. Every single religion, every belief system under the sun. I do not judge them. I do not care what their belief is. What I care about is, what is their issue or problem that they have? How can I help them? What is it they need from me? What do they need from me, and how can I help them? How can I make their life better? How can I teach them to heal themselves? How can I help them to be happier? That is all I'm concerned with. What they want to believe is up to them. It's not up to me to decide that for them. And that is because I am embodying agape, unconditional love. Unconditional love. So I am able to accept them. I have clients who come to me who say, oh, I'm transgender, or oh, I'm gay. I mean, I have those. I have lots of them. And they're always timid and afraid because they think I'm going to judge them. I've had so many of them come to me and say, oh, I don't know if you'll want to work with me because I blah, blah, blah. And I'll go, because you're what? Because you're a human and you're living your life? I'm not going to judge them for their sexual preference. I'm not judging anyone for anything. Okay? I have things that I may or may not approve of, but I'm not going to treat human beings like, let's say I thought that that ice skating is stupid. I don't like ice skating. I think it's dangerous and it's stupid, which I don't. I love ice skating. But let's say I did that. So if somebody comes to me as a client and says, I'm a professional ice skater, just because I think ice skating's stupid, I'm not going to mistreat them. I'm not going to disrespect them. I'm not going to love them any less. I'm still going to be unconditional love. I'm still going to respect them and treat them with what they deserve, with the respect that they deserve. I'm still going to treat them like a human being because they are a human being. We're all human beings. We're not human doings. We're human beings. We are being. We are experiencing life. And this earth is a classroom. We're here to learn, and we're here to help each other, not to fight against each other, not to compete against each other. All of the competition that all these women have been tearing each other to shreds for decades because of that is what these evil son of a bleeps have taught us to do and tricked us into doing, to tearing us apart, because they know that when women come together, we are badass mothers. We are badass moms and aunts and grandmas and sisters and daughters, and we can kick some serious ass when you take a bunch of women and put us together, because we have our women's intuition and our heart and our head, and we're all pretty stinking smart women. So you put us all together, and they know that. So it's all divide and conquer. This whole planet's all about divide and conquer, dividing you by religion, dividing you by your diet. Vegans versus meat eaters. Seriously, they just rip each other apart. It's ridiculous. I just sit back and watch them go at it and go, more stupid cabal bullshit. You know, it's divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Celebrate your differences. Come together and go, yay, I'm a this, and I love you. Yay, I'm a that, and I love you. Come together, celebrate, work together, take back the planet. We will never take this planet back, ever, unless we stop the bullshit, ego, judgment, all these negative sides, the 3D constructs. Until the 3D constructs end, we can't take the planet back. You want this planet back? Throw away all the bullshit and start becoming agape love, and do it now. That is my challenge to you. I love you all. I hope this was beneficial. And most of what I just said out of my mouth, a lot of it was channeled, by the way. So I just let them speak through me. So I have to take a deep breath now, because I was just a lot of that was so channeled. So I'm just like, okay, come back into my body now. Okay. I love you all. I want you all to just go and be love. And I'll see you on the next video.